Hello my lovelies, welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Angel from Simply Angel Tia, and in this video we're going to do something a little bit different than we're usually used to doing. So we're not doing a tutorial for this one. We're going to be doing a Q&A, and this is a Q&A that you can tell by this smile here, it's something big. It is because we got to our 10,000 subscribers. This is a huge milestone for me, and so I'm going to take this opportunity to sincerely thank you guys for your support. You guys, all of you, all 10,000 of you, all 10,000 plus of you who have decided to subscribe to the channel, who have decided to support me, who supported me throughout the lockdown, because I started this channel during the lockdown, and you guys have stayed with me and supported me and subscribed to the channel and commented whenever you had something to say and liked the video when I posted and turned on that notification bell so you could be notified when I have a new video, new project going up. I thank you all. You are part of this huge, lovely family. I thank you so much, my lovely family. And so we're doing Q&A today because I thought it would be a good way for you guys to answer, to ask me some questions and I would answer them. And so when I put a post in the community and asked these questions, some of you had reached out with some questions. And so we're going to get right into those ones so you guys can get these answers. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and do that. All right. So we're going to get right into the very first question. And this question is asked of me all the times on Instagram. People that I meet and I show them my work, they always, the first thing is they ask, how old was I when I started to crochet? So this first question is, how old were you when you started to crochet? I started to crochet at a young age, and not actually crochet, learned and got introduced to crochet for the first time when I was 11 years old. I went to boarding school in Kenya, and as part of a curriculum in the school, they had a class that was called homemade class. And the homemade class was where they wanted to teach young girls how to crochet, how to knit, how to cook, how to clean, how to sew, just like very basic skills that they wanted to have young girls kind of learn from a very young age. Of course, I learned all of those, but my passion became crochet because it was something that at the end of it, I could see something. I could see a product that is completed. Of course, cooking and eating at the end is also good, but when you cook and you eat, tomorrow you don't remember much. You're like, oh yeah, I ate. But like when you make something, you can physically have it somewhere and look at it for a while and see that you've made something. So that's how I got introduced to crochet, was through that class at the age of 11 years old. I didn't learn too many skills of how to crochet. I literally learned how to do a chain, a foundation chain, and then build on that foundation chain with double crochet stitch and make a square. And that was all that I learned for the length of the time that I was going to class. So for the full semester, but it was once a week, obviously, that I had that class, I was able to learn how to do a square, foundation chain, double crochet, make a square from it. And the majority part of learning that was to make sure you could do even stitches. So the teacher would you would complete your square. When it is, the teacher would look at it, and if the stitches are not even, which is very, very common for beginners, if the stitches are not even, you have to frog that thing up and then start over, and eventually you learn how to make your square in very, very even stitches, and it looks very nice and clean. So that's how I learned how to crochet. When I finished that class, I stopped to crochet at the same time. Why? Because the materials that I was using in class belonged to the school. The hook that I was using belonged to the school. I didn't even know where I could get yarn. So it just became something that I was just not going to continue doing it outside of that, even though I really, really enjoyed it. It took maybe 7-8 years later, when I was 17, 18, maybe 19. I was in Canada at the time. I already moved to Canada, and I went to a store called Michael's. For those of you who are in Canada, you know what I'm talking about, or maybe even US as well, I'm not sure. But I walked into Michael's and I just saw a whole wall of yarn, and I was just like, I felt like I was in heaven. I was so excited to see that. And on that particular day, I was gonna buy a skein of yarn, and I was going to buy a crochet hook, and I decided to take a 5mm crochet hook and a skein of yarn, and it was red in color because red is my favorite color. And I went home and I started to do my square because I wanted to make sure I can remember how to do my square using the double crochet stitch. And I did that, and then I was like, okay, I need to be able to do more than just doing this. I wonder what else I can do. And I thought of doing a scarf, but then I didn't know how to do, like, I knew I could do a very long chain compared to like my little chain, foundation chain. To do a square, I could do a long one, and I tried that and I couldn't really succeed. And I think it's been too long since I did it when I was 11. So I decided to go on YouTube, where we are now. I decided to search how to crochet a scarf using double crochet stitch. And of course, there's a million of those that come up, and I looked through videos, and eventually I found one that was just very, very well explained. And I think this is probably why I decided to do a channel, is because if you explain something really well to people, they understand, and it becomes something that they enjoy and they can follow along very well. Because there were so many of them that I was just like, I don't know what they're saying, or I don't know what they just did, because they were not showing it very clearly. But I found one that was the best, and I ended up doing a scarf. And I did this long scarf, which I eventually turned into an infinity scarf because I just connected the two sides. And I will show pictures here. If I have some, I will look for it. But yeah, so this was my very first project after I learned how to crochet when I was 11. And then when I accomplished that, the amount of joy that I had, the happiness I had for finishing something was just like, it was unmeasurable. I was so happy to have done something, and I would wear it all the time, and I would tell everyone that I made it. It was just like, I was so proud. I felt like I had a kid, and I was like, and my kid was the best looking kid, and they were like very smart, and I was just like showing them, like Simba shows, you know, anyways, Lion King reference. But I was just really happy, and I was like, I don't want to lose this feeling that I have. Like, it's a good feeling to do something, to create something with your own hands, and be able to wear it, to proudly put it on and say, I made this. So I decided to make more things, and I would make scarves, and I would make hats, and I ended up just kind of sticking with hats and scarves and small blankets. So I started to do this very often. Sometimes once a month I would have something, and I started to extend this to making it for friends and family, and I would force it on them, and I would say, here, wear this scarf, and they'll be like, oh, no, wear this scarf. Like, it became it became something that I was like, you must like my work, you must put this on. So I enjoyed creating for my friends, and by the way, joking aside, they loved my work. Like, every time I was making a scarf or a winter hat for somebody, a beanie, they honestly really loved it. And I started to get requests from friends and family and co-workers. So I was just making them for free. I wasn't even charging anyone anything. I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go get yarn, and I'll go make this for this person, I'll make it for that person. So, and then, but that was something that I did very infrequently. Like, probably within a year I would do maybe 5 things, so like 5 hats, 5 whatever, like scarves. So it wasn't something that I did on a very daily basis. But I was also a lot sticking with the double crochet stitch, because that was the one thing that I learned. And then eventually I was like, oh, I learned how to make this scarf on YouTube. There must be other things that I could do. So I started to look at other stitches, like the half double crochet, and the back loop double crochet, half double crochet became my favorite. So I started to make a lot of things with that. And then, yeah, finally, fast forward to 2020, when we went into the lockdown. I decided to crochet more. So I was crocheting most of my free time. I was lucky enough to be able to work from home full time. So I would still do my full-time hours at home. But the free time that I would have in the evenings or the weekends, that I would usually go and spend with friends and family and do extra activity, like go to the gym, whatever the case is, I couldn't do that. So I started to use that time to crochet a lot. I would read and crochet. And then finally, June of 2020, my husband, my boyfriend then, but husband now, asked me to open a YouTube channel, because he opened an art YouTube channel to do the same thing. He was bored just as I was. And so he opened a YouTube channel to show people how to paint, how to draw. And by the way, if you guys are interested, I'll put his link of his channel below, just in case you are into art and you're a painter or drawer, whatever the case is as well. So I started my YouTube channel then, and then that's when I really went into designing, into doing more than just the scarves and the other stuff that I was doing. So that was, yeah, that is pretty much the extent of how I learned how to crochet. yeah, so yeah, designing was, I used my clothes a lot. Like if I wanted to make a shirt that looked like this shirt here, I just took a shirt like this and I looked at it and I go, okay, I need to make something that comes up to here and then it goes up and blah blah blah. So I just kind of used my own clothes in the house to design what I was making. Yeah, so that's it. So for, I have answered that obviously in a very long way. So I'm gonna ask you guys to also put it in the comments below. How old were you when you started to crochet? It's very interesting to know how old people were when they started crafting, because often we see someone's work and you're like, you must have been crocheting all of your life, and they go, I've been crocheting for 3 months. You're like, you're talented, you know. So go ahead and put that in the comments below. How old were you when you started to crochet? Okay, so for the next question, I'm gonna read it off of my notes. This person asked, this lovely asked, how often does it take you to do longer projects? And the second part of that question, so thank you for asking two questions. The second part of the question is, what are some of the tips and tricks that you would advise to get through longer projects? So how often do I do long projects, or how often or how long does it take me to do long projects? I'm not sure how the question is phrased, but I will answer it that way. So how often do I do long projects? I would say not too often, because mainly because I do this YouTube channel to show people, to show you guys how to crochet different things, and I have committed to doing a video once a week, and that is a lot of work to be done within a week, to be able to have a video recorded, edited, and put out. So I cannot afford to do long projects, because otherwise I will have a video once every couple of months that I will be posting, and I don't think you guys would like that much. But yeah, so I don't do very long projects. So right now I think the longest projects that I do is a couple of weeks, and it's usually like a sweater or cardigan or something that will take just a little bit longer to do. When I was in Canada and I was working full time, I could only afford to crochet on the weekends and in the evenings. So I literally did not have any free time beside when I'm sleeping, because I was working all day, Monday to Friday, for my full-time job, and then every evening and weekends I was crocheting. So I did way less crocheting. I've been in France for 6 months now, and I've been able to crochet a lot more because I have that free time to be able to do that. But even then, I don't have interest in doing very long projects. I'm planning to do maybe long cardigans that go all the way down eventually, but it will be something that I will do in a couple of in maybe a couple of months, but it's not going to be something that I will do anytime soon. How long do they take? I have done maybe 2 or 3 really, what I consider really big projects. There were 2 that were blankets. Actually, they were all blankets, but the biggest one of the 3 blankets that I did, they were all king size blankets for my friends. The biggest one and the longest one of those was one that I did in a basket weave stitch. For those of you who know the basket weave stitch, you can look it up, but it takes a while, and I did a whole king size bed for it, and it took me 6 months. And it was 6 hectic months, because I was just every time I had a free time, I was crocheting that blanket. If I was going somewhere, doing a road trip somewhere, I was the one crocheting, and not driving and crocheting, you know, someone else is driving and I'm the one crocheting. So it really was difficult for me to get through it, because it was just so long, and it was just like I couldn't get through it. Well, I did eventually after 6 months. The other 2 blankets that I did, I decided to do both of them in just double crochet stitch, so they were a lot faster to do, and they took 2 to 3 months to complete each one of them. But yeah, the longest one that I did was the 6 months, which was really long. And as part of that second question, so what are some of the tips and tricks to get through longer projects? For me, I came to learn this much later, and I came to learn this after I started the channel. Well, is don't have one project, especially if it's a big project. Don't have one project that you're working on every day, because it becomes so boring that you're doing the same thing over and over every single day, that you can easily lose interest. I couldn't. So what I do, one of the advice that maybe you can use, is I make sure I have maybe 2 or 3 other smaller projects going on at the same time, so that I can rotate between them. So I will say, okay, today I will work on the big project and I will do 3 hours of crocheting in the big project. And then tomorrow I crochet on the other smaller projects. And I found that that helped me to not get too bored and not to get too stressed over this big project very easily. So that is one trick that I do. The other one is crochet as much as you can and try to do your big project not in a very boring repeated stitch, because if you do that you will get bored. So try to do a big project in maybe something that even just color change, because if you do it in the same color, it's just you're looking at the same thing over and over again. So try to do it even if it means you have different colors that you're doing the big project in. That does help with the excitement of changing into the new color and doing the new color and seeing the new color progress. But even more importantly, try to do a big project that you're doing different stitches within the same project. I think that would help you a lot. Yeah, I think those are the only tricks that I can tell you guys. I don't know what else I would say. Yeah, crochet as much as you can. Like if you're going somewhere, like right now I have my husband bought me a big crochet bag that I have, like any ongoing project that I'm working on is in that bag. And if we decide last minute we want to take a trip somewhere, he's often the one driving. I grab my basket, my bag with me, and I'm crocheting in the car. And if it's a 3 hour drive, for the whole 3 hours I'm crocheting. And I'm lucky enough to be able to crochet and not have to look at my work every time I'm crocheting, and I crochet really fast. So often I make a really big progress. So try to crochet as often as you can, but I think it's more important that you do different projects at the same time so you don't get bored by doing the exact same thing over and over. Okay. All right, well, tell me in the comments below, how do you do it? Like I'm giving you guys my side here, but how do you do it? Because maybe I would like to try how you do it as much as you want to try how I do it. Okay, so comment below and tell me, how do you get through long projects, and how long does it take you to complete a big project, and what was it? Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the next question. Okay, so for our next question, this lovely asked two questions again, which I love. Thank you so much for asking two questions, because I didn't get too many questions when I asked you guys to bring some questions in for the Q&A. I had only 4 people ask me questions, but luckily enough, some of you lovelies were able to ask more than one question in one, so thank you. But this lovely asked, do you have a favorite type of yarn that I use? That's the first part of the question. And the second part is, what is your favorite project to crochet? All right, so I'm gonna answer the first part of the question first. So do I have a favorite yarn? I wouldn't say I have one that tops everything and I can only work with that yarn, or else I'm not crocheting, not like that. But I do have yarn that I prefer more than others, even though I try many different yarns as I crochet, just because you want to try something different. But when I was in Canada, my favorite yarn was this guy here. This is Value TM Economique by a Craft Smart. And if you guys look at some of my videos, actually most of my videos, you will see that they're done in this yarn. This yarn, the reason I gravitated towards it at the beginning was the price, because I don't make money doing crochet. I don't sell my products. I'm hoping to one day, but my biggest objective was to start a channel, teach people how to crochet. So I knew I would take the hit of having to spend money to do it. And so getting yarn that was $3.99 for a skein like this was, for me, a gold mine. I love this yarn. And this is not sponsored, so I'm gonna show you a few pieces of yarn. It's not sponsored by anyone. I'm just showing you guys what yarns I use and what my favorite yarns are. So yeah, so this is definitely my #1 yarn. And when I moved to France 6 months ago, I shipped a couple of boxes of this because I was so scared to not be able to find this here in France. And to be safe, I just decided to bring a whole bunch of this. So I have made a few projects with it already, and I have a few more left. And hopefully when I do go back home to Canada to visit, I will bring more. And they have so many different colors, and they're $3.99 and they're so soft. Like I have done scarves, hats, beanies, cardigans, everything, sweaters. I've done it with these yarn here. The other one that I enjoyed for a similar reason is the this one is Impeccable by Loops and Threads. This yarn here is $1 more than this, so this is $3.99 and this is $4.99 in Canada, Canadian dollars. And for the same reason, I love it. Like, it's very soft. It's a little bit smaller of a skein than this, so you get a little bit less in this for a little bit more. But the logic is exactly the same. It's very soft and it's very, very comfortable to work with, and they're both acrylic, 100% acrylic, and they're both medium weight number 4, which are very good for you when you're making like winter stuff, winter wearables, you know, sweaters and things like that. But since I moved to France, I went to some stores here to try and find yarn to buy. It is so expensive. I bought yarns, I don't have them anymore, but I bought 4 very small round donut type yarns like this. I bought 6 of them for almost 40 euro. So when you convert that into Canadian, it's almost 60 something dollars for 4 small that I couldn't even do a very big project with. I think I used 2 colors to make a skirt, and I'll show you guys here a picture to see, but I had to make a mini skirt to be able to use the two colors, which was 2 round ones like this of one color and 2 round ones like this. So 4 of them all together made a mini skirt. So very expensive. So that was I don't even remember the name. So maybe one day I'll tell you guys what the name is, but that's it. But since I moved here, I decided to shop online for yarn. And Hobby, you guys probably know Hobby. Hobby is an online yarn company. I think they're based in Netherlands or Germany somewhere. And you buy them online. I've become a little bit obsessed with them. I bought so many of these. I spent a couple of hundreds getting a lot of yarn from them. And this one here is a rainbow, and they come in packages of a package that has 10 small skeins in them, and these skeins are about 50 grams per skein. And you can either get them like this in different colors within the same pack like this, or this is the same color here and then the same, so you get 2 of the exact same colors like this one here. Or you can get them in the same color, all of them are the same color if you want to, or you can get them so that these all 10 of them are different colors, different shades of colors, okay? Shades or colors. So I've decided to kind of use this brand quite a lot, so you will see this in the most recent videos. You're going to see a lot of Hobby yarn being used. This here is a super lightweight one, and this is cotton. Okay, and I'll talk a little bit about why I'm starting to go into cotton more than I used to when I was in Canada. So another one of Hobby is, this is acrylic. So the one I showed you guys here is the cotton one. This is acrylic, and this is lightweight number 3. And you can buy them. It's the same concept as the other one. Is 10 skeins in the package, and this is also 50 grams per skein. And you can buy a pack like this that has all the same color, like this orange here, or you can buy them in the same idea as this, where you have different colors within the same package like this. So anyway, so this has become something that I use now because of the cost. Like, it's not too expensive. It is if you buy one. So what they do is, if you decided to just go buy one like this, you will pay more. I don't remember, but maybe about 12 euro. I don't know. I don't remember. But the more you add to your cart of the same kind. So if they're advertising that if you buy 5 of these, it becomes $5.99 per package like this, instead of 12, for example. So the more you buy of it, the cheaper that it is. So when I buy this, I usually make sure I buy them in bulk so that I am paying less. You spend a little bit more than you would want to, but you're buying a lot, you're getting a lot more yarn. So yeah, so these are my favorite yarns that I've been using, but I would never, this guy here, I'm just gonna be very honest, this is gonna probably be my favorite yarn for a very long time. It's acrylic, and it's usually what I do like big things like sweaters and blankets with. The only downside to now living in the south of France is the fact that it's not as cold as it is in Canada. In Canada, you know, you can easily get to -50, especially in Ottawa where I'm from. So using these type of acrylic yarns to make blankets and things like that was very, very helpful, because you can make very warm wearables or very warm blankets, scarves, hats, beanies. While here in the south of France, we are now in end of January. There's no snow, so you will not see a snow on the ground. And as well, it gets to maybe -10, maybe -5, -10 at night. And in the day, it goes to about 5-10 degrees. So it's not as cold as Canada is. So I'm going to be transitioning a little bit into making more projects with cotton, because it's a lot hotter here. It's a lot warmer even in the winter, so having something very heavy and hot is probably not very appropriate for here. So you will see me transition to do a lot more things, especially summer wearables are going to be more in cotton versus in acrylic. Okay, all right, well, why don't you tell me in the comments below what is your favorite yarn that you use, why you decided to use that particular yarn, and yeah, let's share all this information with everyone. There's 10,000 of us. I'm sure we have a lot of things that we can tell each other. And the second part of the question is, what is your favorite project to crochet? I crochet so many things that I cannot even actually pinpoint exactly what is my favorite. I probably enjoy some more than others, so I'll tell you what those are. I do shawls. When I do shawls, I'm so satisfied with them. I don't know why. I love making shawls. And I make them triangles, I make them in rectangles, I make them in, you know, whatever shape that I can do a design in. And I just find those very satisfying. I don't know how you feel about that, but I've also done scarves that I really enjoy. Infinity scarves or just regular scarves are very, very cool. But now I'm getting into like actual clothing, like skirts and tops and things like that. And I think I will do some of those more now that I live in the south of France. I think I'll do more like tops and bikini covers and bikinis and things like that, just because I live in a different climate than where I came from in Canada. So I think you will see more of those. But if we look back in the past, things that I enjoyed working on the most, I would have to say there were shawls. Love shawls. Yeah, so those are my favorite things to do. Why don't you guys tell me what you like to crochet? What is your favorite thing? I know we all do different things, and there's so many possibilities of what we can do with crochet. I just happen to concentrate on wearables. But tell me, what do you guys like? What do you get so much joy doing, and at the end you just feel so satisfied of what the product or what the finished product is? Okay, tell me that in the comments below. Okay, so this is my last but not least question, and I love this question because it's literally the reason why I do crochet. This lovely asked, how do you stay inspired to design and to crochet? To be honest, passion. Passion, I love to crochet. I love it too much, and that is inspiration enough for me. I just enjoy it so much. When I don't crochet, I know this a couple of times that my husband and I have gone somewhere where I cannot crochet. Like, for example, we just went to Andorra. It's a small country within Europe. We went there for 2 days to hike in the mountains, and I couldn't crochet because I was hiking. And I felt like I was missing something. I felt empty for not having crocheted at all for 2 days. It's such a weird feeling to say that, but I just enjoyed so much. But I did do a video a while back. I think it was like last year or the year before. I did a video explaining why I find crochet very enjoyable and why I actually crochet. For me, it's such a distressing, it's a distress. I get so, it's like my therapy. If I could just be very honest with you, when I'm stressed, when I'm feeling lonely, homesick, now that I live here, I love to just pick up my crochet hook and a yarn and just make something. Like, I just go and I just design something and I go with it. I love to do that so much. So this is, for me, something that helped me distress. It helps me feel like I'm doing something. The satisfaction of completing a project and either putting it on if it's a wearable, or just if it's a blanket, laying it down, or if it's a gift, packaging it and gifting it to someone and seeing the happiness on their faces. This for me is such an inspiration to continue doing what I'm doing, which is crochet. And to design, yeah, you obviously want to always aim for better. So what inspires me to design is I want to make something different every time. So I will take my clothes, like I said at the beginning of the video, I will take some of my clothes and go, I would like to replicate this in crochet. Like, how could I get that? And I will just start to design, and sometimes I fail and I repeat and I fail and I repeat. Keep in mind what I put as a finished product on video to show you guys. Sometimes it's not that easy to design offline, okay? So as somebody who posts these things, sometimes you design something and you just fail and you're just doing it and you cannot get it right, and sometimes you give up on the idea, or sometimes you're like, no, I'm not giving up on this idea, I'm gonna keep doing it until I get it right, and you just continue to do it, and finally when you get it right, it's such a great feeling to have that. It's such a satisfying feeling to have accomplished something that you really fought so much to try and get it right. So all of these are my inspiration. I love to see people wear my things. So when whether somebody bought it or if somebody gifted it to somebody and they just rock it and they post a photo of it or whatever the case is, it's such a great feeling. So that is what inspires me. What inspires you guys to crochet or to do whatever you do? Like, there's so many different types of art, like whether you're a painter or a crocheter or a knitter or a clothing designer. What inspires you to do that, and why do you do it? How does it make you feel when you do it? All right, so that was my last question. Thank you so much, you guys. I hope I answered the questions right and appropriately. If I haven't, please comment below. If I did not answer your question the way you asked, maybe I did not, let me know and I will answer you guys. And if you missed part of this posting a question about this Q&A and you would like some of your own questions answered, just put them in the comment section below, and I would either answer them in writing, or I will plan, depending on how many extra questions I get, I can plan a second Q&A, because I think it's nice to talk to you guys like this sometimes. So instead of you guys just watching my hands crochet, I think it's sometimes nice to kind of have a face-to-face like this. So yeah, just again, thank you so much for your continuous support. I appreciate everything. I hope you guys will stay with me for the long run, and we'll continue to build this channel together, and we'll get to a point one day where we'll look back and go, wow, like we've come a long way together. I appreciate it so much. If you guys want me to do some videos where I have this kind of interaction more than just a tutorial, let me know, because I don't mind having to sit down like this sometimes. We could even do some lives where you guys can interact live while we're chatting. But yeah, you guys let me know. And if that is something that you're into, we could definitely go ahead and do that. Yeah, so thank you so much again. And the next one is going to be a tutorial, so be ready for that. I will be posting something, how to make something. Yeah, and also give me ideas. I always say this in the community, interact in the community. You guys want me to hear your ideas and things like that. The only way we could do it is through the community. So use the community tab to just ask questions to all of this kind of stuff, and we will improve together and we'll work together. Thank you so much, my lovelies, and I will see you guys in the next one. Love you lots.